Air Force is getting fired up for the 29th bowl appearance in school history and the 12th under head coach Troy Calhoun. The Falcons will battle Baylor in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Air Force has beaten 4 straight Power 5 opponents, including 2 straight in bowl matchups. Hi everybody, I'm Jesse Kurtz in the Mountain West Network studio for some insight on the Falcons. We head to Colorado Springs and bring in the voice of the Falcons, Jim Arthur. Jimmy, happy holidays. How are you?
Jesse, good. And the holidays are always better when you have a bowl game to go to. So things are good in Colorado Springs around the Air Force Academy.
Well, they're great when you've got a big-time running back like Air Force does. And when you think about Falcons football over the last couple of years, you think about Brad Roberts, the reigning Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. The fullback for the Falcons rushed for an Air Force record 1,612 yards this fall. Also broke the program record with 10 100-yard games this season. Jimmy, what is it about Brad Roberts' makeup that makes him such an effective runner?
I think it's a lot of little things, Jesse, when you think about it. First, I think his lower body strength is just unbelievable, number one. His vision, number two, because nobody seems to get a square shot on him. I can remember maybe 3 square face-to-face shots he's taken in the last 3 years, and I think they were all this year, interestingly enough. But nobody gets a good shot at him, and he talks about when he runs, he talks about when he sees an opponent coming to tackle him, he goes for their soft shoulder, which isn't their lead shoulder, it's the back shoulder, which has less weight on it, and it allows him to power through people. He doesn't go down on the first hit. He finds a way to twist and turn. He's faster than you think. So you bring all these little things together, and he's unbelievable. And the other thing is, he's not like 240 or 250, a prototypical fullback. He weighs about 215, and that was at the start of the season. It's probably a little bit less now, but he's got this amazing ability to find yards and to go, and this power, this engine he has is second to none.
Yeah, I think you hit on something that's very interesting. The durability of Brad Roberts, which is unbelievable. Carried the ball 308 times this year, the only player in Air Force history to carry the ball 300 or more times in a single season. What a run he has had this year for the Falcons. All right, the defense for Air Force equally has been sensational all season. Boy, Brian Noor has done a really good job. This is a unit that ranks in the top 10 nationally in scoring defense, pass defense, rush defense, total defense. Further, over the last 4 games, the Falcons have given up a total of 25 points. That's less than a touchdown per game. What are some of the reasons that this unit has been so suffocating?
Those are PlayStation numbers. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've done. And in total defense, they're number 1 in the nation. As I look at them, several things come to mind. They've got outstanding talent. I mean, just everywhere you look, whether it's the safeties in Canby Golf and Trey Taylor, the linebackers with Alec Mock, Vince Sanford. You go everywhere and there is talent. I think the defensive line has been a real key, and that may surprise some people, but here's why I say that. They don't have a lot of tackles. Their sack numbers are average, and they only really came up in the last 3-4 games. But what the defensive line has been able to do, they've been able to keep the other offensive linemen off of the Air Force linebackers, allowing them and the secondary to make plays. When you look at the Air Force tackle numbers, you'll see the top 5 tacklers on Air Force all within maybe 10 tackles of each other. I mean, and that to me is really impressive. And the ability to cover well against passing teams. And the other fact, and this does go unnoticed, they haven't played a lot because of the Air Force offense. Air Force holds onto the ball so much that the defense, they're well rested when they get on the field. And that has contributed to them really having fresh legs on the field at all times.
Unselfish and complementary football. It's been a key for the Falcons, who, by the way, have been opportunistic on defense. They're 4-0 this season, won 15 straight games over the last 4 seasons when forcing at least 2 turnovers. So maybe a key to look at when taking on the Bears, who themselves will counter with a very good running attack. We've seen it all season from Baylor, headlined by all Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year, Richard Reese, who's rushed for 962 yards and 14 touchdowns this season. How will the Falcons best defend this running back who has burst onto the scene this year for the Baylor Bears?
I think that's a great question, and I think this is a real test for Brian Noor. And here's the reason why. Reese is 5'7". Okay, he's quick, he's fast, he's shifty, he's got great vision. But what Baylor does that really impresses me is he's just but one piece of the offensive arsenal. They'll do a lot of different things with a lot of different players. And I don't know, unlike Air Force, teams can hone in on Brad Roberts, or have tried to this year. I think with Baylor, it's a little bit different. I think it's tougher to hone in on one guy because they'll throw the ball quite a bit. They'll run it with other players beside Reese. And obviously, you've got to stop the running game. You got to turn Baylor one-dimensional, and that's going to be really important. Air Force will have a better time defending if they can force Baylor into more passing situations than running situations. But no doubt about it, Reese is a great player, and when he gets the ball, he's kind of a hold-your-breath guy. When he gets the ball, you're like, uh-oh, I hope he doesn't, I hope he doesn't. And we've seen a few of those over the years. Malcolm Perry at Navy comes to mind. He's got that kind of ability. So it's a good test for Brian Noor and company.
Yeah, and a test that's not unfamiliar to this defense. The Falcons have played 4 Mountain West teams that have featured 1,000-yard backs already this year. So they'll be battle-tested as Air Force goes gunning for a third 10-win season since 2019. Jimmy, it's always great to catch up with you. Thank you for the insight. Happy holidays and travel safely to Fort Worth.
Jesse, happy holidays, and we'll see what happens. Bowl season, great time of the year.
Indeed it is. You can watch Air Force battle Baylor in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl on Thursday, December 22nd. Kickoff from Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas, set for 6:30 Central Time and televised by ESPN. From the Mountain West Network studio, I'm Jesse Kurtz.